Well, ready? Good morning. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. Welcome to the July 25th, 2024 meeting of the Shawnee County Board of County Commissioners. My name is Kevin Cook. I serve as the chair this year. Joining me today is Commissioner Aaron Mays. Good morning.
Morning.
Commissioner Bill Rippon. Good morning. Ms. Otto is filling in for our clerk this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
And then Rich Eckert, the only one who didn't get the message to wear a gray suit today, our county counselor. So, Chris, if you'll kick us off.
Okay. Item 3, consent agenda.
There are a number of items on the consent agenda. Is there a motion or are there questions?
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item 4, new business. A, county clerk. Number 1, consider all voucher payments.
This morning, we have 2 voucher reports. One was from last week, that's July 17th, for $1,286,924.87. And then also the one for this week, $3,542,823.80. Nothing too out of the ordinary on there, and so if there's not any questions, I just move for approval.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Number 2, consider correction orders.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item B, bond council. Number 1, consider approval of resolution number 2024-51, authorizing the issuance of an estimated $32 million aggregate principal amount of Shawnee County, Kansas taxable industrial revenue bonds for the historic Jayhawk Theater, Inc. project.
Good morning, Bob Perry. On June the 6th, you passed a resolution expressing the county's intent to issue these bonds, the proceeds from which will be used to renovate and repair and enhance the improvements to the old historic Jayhawk Theater. At that time, on June the 6th, we had a public hearing. There weren't any comments from the public. You closed it and you passed the resolution. It's anticipated that the $32 million aggregate amount will eventually be hopefully acquired and spent over a series of bond issues over a series of years. This first issue of 2024 will be in the $5 million to $6 million range. It's going to start the improvements by weatherproofing the facility, repairing foundations, HVAC, electrical upgrades and whatnot, so they can get started, kind of seal it up and then start the other repair.
Bob, I know we covered this at the meeting in June, but I want to go ahead and cover it again. The county is not liable on the debt that we're being issued.
That is correct. By statute, this is neither an obligation of the county nor can it be paid through taxation. This is a special limited obligation payable only and solely by the historic theater or the occupants of the facilities. Okay. And that's true with all industrial revenue bonds in the state of Kansas.
All right, just want to make sure that that's clear again, that this is not an obligation or part of the county's debt. So, any other questions? All right. Is there a motion?
I'll move to approve.
There's a motion to approve by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Thank you. Before we go, Jeff, I know that you are here. Is there anything that you want to say on behalf of Jayhawk Theater? And Joanne, I can't pass up. Joanne's the consummate cheerleader of this project.
Yes, well, we appreciate your support on this issue. You know, this instrument will really help the theater move things along, and we've got the alley torn up, and we're starting to do our restoration in the alley outside, and we're looking forward to hopefully getting the rest of the funds raised so that we can complete all of this in the next couple of years.
Okay. Joanne, is there anything else you want to add? Make sure you check out the event calendar for the Jayhawk Theater too. There's always things going on, so. All right, our next item.
Number 2, consider approval of resolution number 2024-52, authorizing the issuance of an estimated $20 million principal amount of Shawnee County, Kansas taxable industrial revenue bonds for the Southwest Resource Real Estate Group 2 LLC project.
Bob Perry again. Again, like the theater, June the 6th, a public hearing was held expressing the intent of the county to issue these bonds. The proceeds will be used to construct about 140,000 additional square feet at the publishing facility. Now, it's known at Topeka as the Southwest Publishing and Mailing Company. Both of these companies are subsidiaries wholly owned by more companies out of Tulsa. From talking with Shane Hilmer, the president of this facility here, they anticipate that they'll be able to pick up about 50 to 60 jobs.
For those of us that are been around Topeka for more than a couple years, it was formerly known as the Jostens facility.
Correct.
So, just kind of those that are wanting to know kind of where this is at. And then again, this is not an obligation of the county.
That is correct.
Okay. All right, are there any questions?
No?
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Our next item.
Item C, Noxious Weed Department, number 1. Consider approval of request to purchase GPS tracking and herbicide disbursement equipment.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Landon, Director of the Weed Department. I would just like to take a few minutes to kind of run through this program and explain to you what it really is. It's a little bit more than just a vehicle tracking system. As you're aware, we come to you a couple months ago asking to go out for an RFP to replace our tracking system that we had on our vehicles. Now, we received 2 different quotes, one from AgTerra and one from another company. We reviewed those quotes and visited with IT, Mark over in IT, to be sure that these systems would integrate with ours and didn't have any issues there. And so really what this, it says it's a vehicle tracking system, but it does so much more than just track the vehicles. So to start out, I just kind of walk you through here. What you're seeing on the screen, this is one of our daily spray sheets that we work off of on a daily basis. So it basically has the wind speed, time, directions, all that stuff, temperature. It gives you the target weed that we're treating, the method of treatment, whether it's a handgun or a boom, lists through all the chemicals, EPA numbers, who's the manufacturer, all these are requirements that have to be on these forms for us to submit to KDA at the end. The application rate, how many ounces were used, so on and so forth. And so this program, all these chemicals I'll mention here, these can be single tank mixes or they can be multiple tank mixes. So on an everyday basis, we use a Freelex and a Toradon tank mix. That's indicated there, as you can see, with the application rate. And then we have 2 other tanks on those trucks. And so at any given time, there's 3 spray tanks and there could be multiple chemicals. So what this program does is it digitalizes all this. We can create actual tank mix modes. And when the driver gets in there, he just selects that I'm John Landon, I'm in this truck, and I'm spraying a Freelex tank mix. And then it starts the time that his application time starts. When he stops for lunch, then he just stops the program. When he goes back to work, then he goes back to work. And each time, the important part, and I think the most valuable tool in this, is each time that applicator hits any one of those buttons in the truck, whether it's the handgun or one of the 5 other boom nozzles that he has in there to hit, it actually records that and logs that upper information, the wind speed, the temperature, everything about it, the GPS location of where that herbicide was applied. And so at the end of the day, you have, this is the actual back of our spray sheet now, and the only way we have to track it is we circle the road that we traveled. There's really nowhere that we can say we sprayed here, 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 and here. So what we do is just circle the roads that we traveled, and we know at some point in the day we may have sprayed herbicide in there. Well, with this new system, it will highlight these roads that we traveled, and if there's an issue, we can zoom in and it'll show each and every one of those locations that we sprayed chemical. It'll show the chemical that was sprayed, the GPS location of it, what the wind speed, the temperature, humidity reading, the whole 9 yards of it, and SWIL know. The important part of that is if we actually spray in an area that we caused some damage or some damage was caused, we can look at this map and say, you know, we weren't nowhere in the area. We traveled that road, but we didn't apply any herbicides within 2 or 3 miles. Another key factor of what this program does is we can load, this next map is our sensitive crop locations throughout the county. So there's 24 locations of areas that are either bees, they could be vineyards, tomatoes, fruit trees, anything that we deemed as sensitive crop that the owner signed up for. We can load this into that program, and as you can see on here, we quarantined about a mile off from each location, and when they enter that area, it will send them an alert to let them know that they've entered into a sensitive crop area and they shouldn't be spraying. And that's huge for us, is when you're the applicators and you're trying to look for weeds and not really paying attention where you're at, what road you're on, and you got 24 locations to try to remember off the top of your head or refer back to your book. This is just an added precaution that, you know, we shouldn't have any accidents. So with that, commissioners, it's more than vehicle tracking. It tracks all the vehicle movement activity. It also does all of our maintenance records, lets us know when it's due for service. Tracks all the chemicals that we apply in different groups. We can do our billing from it. And it'll essentially cause us to go paperless, and it'll all be digitally recorded. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Commissioner Rippon?
John, how do you control weeds in these sensitive crop locations then?
We do that in the fall after October when everything goes dormant, and we put down a pre-emergent. And depending on the location, we'll use 1 or 2 different chemicals, a milestone or a tordon, depending on if water's close. And so that pre-emergent, if we put it down, the later we put it down, we get 6 months out of control out of it. And so it will push us into the spring on early germination season.
So John, query me this. We are always under the gun for why are we making these expenses? Why are we paying this or that or the other as county commissioners?
Yes.
In this case, we've got a request to spend roughly $27,000, $28,000 into the GPS equipment.
Correct.
And so for $28,000, we're gonna go from paper to paperless. Outside of maybe defending the county in a claim, which now Mr. Eckert will be able to pull up your digital records and say, we didn't spray, so we didn't kill your silo, we didn't damage your property. Where does this benefit the county? How do we justify this to the taxpayers to say, my taxes are going up, up, up? So just walk me through, where does this save the county? How does this make the county more efficient? How does this save the county money?
Well, so money in the long run, I think when I look at it, I think the same, I think along the lines of like the sheriff's department with cameras, the sheriff's department with vests. I mean, you only need that just one incident. And so when we look at vineyards, if we was to damage a vineyard by some odd accident, we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars per acre for the next 7 years as that orchard cannot produce grapes. And so we don't just have the claim of that 1 year, we have the next 7 years on top of that where that plant can't produce. And so, in the grand scheme of things, if we can do anything we can to alert the operators and the applicators of they're getting in an area they're not supposed to be in, or they should pay attention to, or use caution, I think that's, just the added insurance that we really need to take to be sure to save them money in the long run.
I mean, I appreciate that this is gonna make your office more efficient. You're gonna know where you were at, you're gonna know how long it took, you're gonna know a lot more operational, be able to manage your fleet. From a standpoint, I appreciate all of those things as well, so.
Billing wise too, Commissioner Cook, when we do billing, so our clerk gets this spray sheet, then she puts it in a spreadsheet that auto calculates all that stuff. And so the nice thing about it, we're gonna eliminate one more process that person has to do, freeing up a couple hours of time to be able to just generate bills straight from a person putting this in data entry and then putting it into our billing cycle for Star Weed. So it'll kind of integrate together to where we'll just be able to bill it off what the computer tells us, so.
Commissioner Mays, any questions or? Okay. Commissioner Rippon, anything else?
No.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I'll move for approval.
I would second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Our next item.
Item D, Court Administration, number 1. Consider approval and execution of Contract C-231-2024 with Advantage Software for the purchase of 2 Eclipse Vox transcription software licenses for use by voice writing court reporters. The total cost of the licenses and 1 year of anytime support, updates, and enhancements is $11,013 with funding through the 2024 Court Administration budget.
Good morning, Commissioners. Lee Welch, Court Administrator, Shawnee County District Court. As Chris had explained, this is a request for approval to purchase 2 software licenses, and this will continue to support our limited court reporter pool with newest version of these voice writing software.
Any questions?
I'll move for approval.
Second. Motion made by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Thank you. Our next item.
Item E, Parks and Recreation, number 1. Consider authorization and execution of Contract C-234-2024 with K&A Diggin, Inc. for burial services at the West Lawn Memorial Gardens Cemetery.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tim Laurent, Parks and Recreation Department. So back in 2021, we went out for a bid and for an RFP for this service, and we only had one company that bid on it. And they have since decided they no longer want to do this, so we were fortunate, we think, to find another company that would be willing to step in and sort of fill the gap here. What we're asking today is to enter into an agreement with K&A Diggin Incorporated to fulfill the remainder of the year. And then my next item will be to go out for an RFP to find a new vendor starting in 2025.
Questions for Tim? I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Number 2, consider approval to utilize the formal bidding process for grave preparation digging services at West Lawn Cemetery. Funding is through the West Lawn Enterprise Fund, which does not utilize tax dollars.
Tim Laurent, Parks and Recreation Department. As I previously stated, we are asking permission to go out for an RFP to fill our soon-to-be vacant services out at West Lawn Cemetery. Be happy to answer any questions.
Questions?
No.
I'll
I'd move.
Okay, go ahead.
I'd move for approval.
Second. Motion made by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Thank you. Our next item.
Item F, Public Works, number 1. Consider approval of a project budget and a request to solicit construction bids for a pavement reconstruction project on Southwest Auburn Road between Southwest 29th Street and K4 Highway. The project funding will come from multiple internal and external sources.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kurt Niehaus, Director of Public Works. Well, we're at that time. The plans are complete, bid specifications are done. Utilities are largely relocated. We've purchased easement. It's time to get this project under construction. So in order to do that, I have to come before you asking permission for a project or approval of a project budget and to permission to solicit bids for construction. The project cost is total project cost, not just construction. Total project cost is estimated right now at $12.5 million. The project consists of 3 phases. We'll start with the school's roundabout. The reason we'll start there is because we want to get that roundabout finished by August of next year so that the school has a primary entry and exit point. We'll move to the roundabout at 29th and Auburn Road. and then we'll finish up with this segment between 29th and K4, the segment of Auburn Road between 29th and K4. So with that, I look forward to your questions.
Questions, Commissioner Mays?
So, Kurt, this is, I mean, the description says the project on Auburn Road, but this is all three phases of the project to include 29th Street also.
Right, right. The principal intent of the project, original intent, was to build a roundabout at 29th and Auburn Road. And then we added the segment between 29th and K4. The school announced that they were going to build a middle school complex in the northeast quadrant of 29th and Auburn Road. So we have worked with the school district and added the roundabout on 29th Street. So to answer your question, yes, the school's roundabout is included in the project and it will be completed first.
This, this total project budget, that includes the money from the state, Washburn Rural and the city, is that?
Absolutely. This is just total project cost. We will pay for the project internally through a number of sources over multiple years. I've been saving up money since 2022. We have $2.75 million coming from outside sources. To answer your question, this is, yes, we got multiple funding sources, both internal and external.
Okay. Any other questions?
No.
Is there a motion?
I would move for approval.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Number 2, consider issuance of a request for qualifications for professional services to conduct a feasibility study for a possible bridge replacement project. The existing bridge, 110-foot span March Arch, is located on Northwest Valencia Road over Big Soldier Creek. Funding for the study will come from the county bridges portion of the 2017-2031 half-cent countywide sales tax program.
Courtney Hass, Director of Public Works. As you know, we have a bridge out there. It's built early in the 20th century. For the most part, it has performed well, but recently we've seen signs of distress, I think mainly to overloads. We've been monitoring this structure. Presently, this structure is not on our 5-year plan, and I don't anticipate it entering our upcoming 5-year plans anytime soon. Nevertheless, I think we can expend a relatively small amount of money, do a feasibility study, and use that information to apply for various federal grants, such as the Federal Railroad Association, their crossing elimination program. So the whole idea here is to spend a little bit of money, do a feasibility study. Obviously, I've said many times, the bridge in its present location is not suitable. So I want to look at where we might relocate the bridge, where we might cross the creek and the railroad, how much this will cost, how much time the project may take to construct. It's all about gaining knowledge, so we'll have a little more information to apply for federal grants. I look forward to your questions.
Commissioner Mays, questions?
No, I mean, I appreciate this. I know we've been emphasizing finding grants a lot more lately. I know I sent you the railroad crossing one the other day, and I think this is something we need to do, because obviously this bridge, last time we talked about it, created a little bit of a stir up there with the neighbors, and so we want to make sure that we do this the right way, and I think this is the first step to doing that, so appreciate it.
Yeah. The bridge is not in a great location. It's on a curve.
Correct.
It's, I don't think it serves the purpose for the farmers very well. You can't cross it with a combine or something like that. It's narrow. And, but there is an issue with people getting bottled up by the railroad. They tend to park along there, and then you can't get through, and it's difficult to get around. So it'll be interesting to see what a study would come up with.
Absolutely.
I think we also heard from the fire district of concerns about if the bridge was relocated, how that would affect response time. in some cases. But I also wonder if this was not a marsh arch bridge, if it was not an arched bridge, would we really be having this discussion? I think a lot of people are connected to the physical structure of how the bridge looks, being a concrete arched bridge, which there's just not a lot of.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I think there's an identity, the community identifies with the structure in some ways. And I do want to clarify, you know, when this topic first came up about the condition of this bridge, I had talked about maybe relocating the bridge at an alternate site, maybe a half-mile away or something, to give Grove Township some alternatives. What I envision here is hopefully leaving the bridge in approximately the same location, just crossing the creek and the railroad tracks in a more advantageous location. So that's my hope.
okay. Well, any other questions? Is there a motion to move forward on this? Yes.
Yeah, I'll make a motion. I also wanted to say, you know, this isn't the only marsh arch bridge in Shawnee County.
We have two others.
The other one, I would say, if we haven't already done so, let's check it out and make sure that we're doing everything we can to preserve it.
The one on 10th Street is a historic structure.
Okay. Great. All right, so I made a motion.
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Our next item.
Item G, Emergency Management, number 1. Consider approval of the 2024 First Responder Grant Awards in accordance with Contract C-207-2016 and Resolution 2023-30.
Good morning, Commissioners. Nelson Cassiel, Ambulance Compliance Officer. This is our yearly First Responder Grant Awards. As a reminder, the monies are not tax dollars. These come from the fines and penalties that AMR pays for certain requirements they do not meet as a part of Contract C-207-2016. 8 people put in. We have 7 to award. One of them pulled theirs back for now so that the others could get what they wanted between all the training and real-world equipment. There's some trauma kits, some stop-the-bleed kits, CPR mannequins, some training, and also some software there. It leaves the $132.68 in there. The $23,000 will go for when the crew force and the fire mobile licenses are due from New World Tyler in November, and those will just stay in the account, and me and Jennifer will pay the invoices through my department. I'll be happy to stand for any questions.
Questions for Nelson?
Yep.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Our next item. Thank you, Nelson.
Item H, Health Department, number 1. Acknowledge budget revisions to the Kansas Department of Health and Environment, KDHE, Aid to Local Grant Application for the state fiscal year 2025, and acknowledge Shawnee County Health Department renewal of the current universal agreement.
Good morning, Commissioners. Teresa Fisher, Director of the Health Department. I was here before you earlier this spring asking to apply for our aid to local grants through KDHE. We are now in the process of receiving those grant awards. 2 things I want to note. One, our Family Planning Award is only a partial award. That is due to a delay at the federal level, so I'll be bringing that back before you when we receive that next installment of that award notice. And then also our regional FEP award is always delayed in a separate award, so that will come separately. And my last item I wanted to note is this is actually not a renewal, and I apologize for the BCC request not catching that. We are entering into a new universal agreement, and that has been through the county counselor's office and has their approval.
Okay. Any questions? I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next item.
Item I, Information Technology, number 1. Consider approval and execution of Contract C-235-2024, Annual Maintenance Renewal with Central Square Technologies, which provides the county's One Solution software at an annual cost of $82,190.43.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mark Price, Information Technology. This is just our annual renewal of the maintenance for one solution. This is used by every county, every department in the county for payroll, accounts payable, and we just asked for the renewal.
Questions on the renewal? Is there a motion?
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next item.
Item J, County Counselor, number 1, consider approval of real estate purchase agreement, contract C-232-2024 with Parish Management Corporation for property situated at Southeast Madison Street.
Good morning, Commissioners. Rich Eckert, County Counselor's Office. This is a small tract of land just to the south of the corrections facility. We're going to use this for two reasons. One, it could be a possible construction, a construction point to store equipment and other things for our contractor on when we're building the behavior. I'm sorry, I'm tied up. The behavior center for the jail. It can also be used for long-term parking if we need. So we worked with the Parish Management Corporation. This is a pretty good price. They kind of feel like they're helping us out as well, so they were willing to come down to this price. So we're very appreciative of them as well.
Okay. Is there questions? Is there a motion?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Thank you. Our next item.
Item 5, public comment.
This is an opportunity for any member of the public to make comment to the county commission.
Good morning, Commissioners. Henry McClure, Shawnee County, Kansas, Topeka, Kansas. It was interesting what I just saw here today. I saw the weed department really get chastised, or I felt grilled about a really good idea. And then I saw the Public Works, you approve the idea of having a study when we should just have public involvement. The MTPO, who never meets, should do that job. It would be easy to engage the public. You had, Kenny Blair came out, I really can't remember his comments about the bridge. And yeah, there was some sort of design love for it because it was a unique structure. But we could do this stuff with public involvement, engaging the public. And this is what we don't do in this county. It's already decided to introduce a new idea in Shawnee County. Just forget it. I saw a Facebook post that was kind of interesting. Matt Pavarnak out at the lake. It's a house that I sold him. And somebody asked Matt Pavarnak how he got that house. And it's actually Topeka. It's typical Topeka. I had a pocket listing. That's what we call in real estate. Hey, I know that guy wants to sell the house, and I know a guy wants to buy it. I put the two together, and he's got a great house. But that's how we do at the upper level with the way the chamber works and go Topeka. It's like all the deals are up here, and they don't ever get down to little guys like me. Now, 2 years ago, I wrote a note to Bill. He was my county commissioner at the time, to have help to do a Pizza Hut deal. I needed help with the sewer. You know what? I wasn't smart enough to keep the easement myself when I sold the land to the city. I just overlooked it. I sold, and I literally thought this when I sold the property. Well, if the city owns it, if I need to run a sewer line to it, but you know what? I didn't cross every I and dot every T, or vice versa. So we need to do things different. We need to not vote for the plans if you're not going to vote for the project for the saloon deal. Just stop there. Have a no vote every once in a while. this is a community that's already set, the decision's already made before you show up. But I drove by 29th Street the other day and I saw the Pizza Hut sign. 2 years later, the Pizza Hut's there. But as Ghetto members, I feel it's your duty to help. And really, I kind of stand back, and a good friend of mine, Doug Bassett's always saying, quit asking for government help. Those deals should stand on their own. You're right, he's right. And when I stand back here as a developer, since I'm not getting any help anytime I ever ask for help, I asked for help for a sewer line from Go Topeka to put in Heritage Tractor. That would have been a good idea. Never gotten any help. So why don't we take the money away from the government and develop infill development with CID and TIF and start putting this money you're wasting. You're wasting our taxpayer money funding Go Topeka. And if you took the whole lump sum, what did we get out of it? It didn't grow our population. It didn't lower our tax base. And what's our responsibility? And number one, I don't know why you guys even want to sit here. I'm getting phone calls as if I'm a county commissioner. If I get elected, I only want to sit there 4 years. I'd like to do my best to do something in 4 years and get out. But we got to create an even playing field. We've got to spend money appropriately. It just seems like too parochial to have people come in here, professionals, to ask permission to get a proposal. But I digress. The future. What do you want your legacy to be? And I think you got to wake up every day and say, well, what's my legacy going to be as an elected official? And it shouldn't be, I've got to get reelected because I got more work. I got more work to do. That shouldn't be our legacy. We should put our time in, time served. Is that your mom, Bill? Okay. I appreciate your time. We need to do things differently in our community. The idea of engaging the public, the idea of putting the planning commissions together, the idea of putting the planning departments together, the idea of time. Let's talk about time management. Because we could be working on putting the planning departments together today. We could be working on putting the planning commissions together today. Today, by statute, you can create a third planning commission. 3 by you, 3 by the city, then those 3 get together and elect the 7th person. But we can kick the city out of the 3-mile radius today. We don't have to wait to get reelected. Everybody says we need to get the city out of the 3-mile radius. We can do it today. I'll tell you, the best idea I've ever heard since I've been back to Topeka, Kansas was from a friend of mine. He said, what we really need to do is connect Highway 24 down Auburn to the Turnpike. So if you want to grow the city, if you want to grow the community, now I think about it living over here in across from the tracks, across from Amtrak. I think about that. Yeah, I want development to the west. I don't need it around me today. And I'm telling you today, I walked down the worst road in Shawnee County. I don't think there's one worse than Adams Street from 5th to 8th on Southeast Adams. And when you think about the fact that we buy all of our gas, and the city buys their gas, you buy all your fuel. I don't think I need that microphone, but you buy all your fuel from Capitol, there at 10th, Marvin. And so does the city. They buy, and I think they've got different spots. But we got to be more like farmers, the way we spend our money. Somebody asked me, what is a conservative? Well, a conservative, somebody that spends their own money like a farmer. And I think that's what we need to be as politicians. We got to think about being farmers again, how we spend our money. And if we've got fleets of the city and the county going down that road getting beat up, well, let's fix the road. Let's start looking to the future. What are we going to do in the future? But I'll tell you something, I think what you guys are going to find out is that there's a lot of people that want to do things differently. And there's a lot of people that don't feel like their voices are heard. I admire your service, and your intentions have always been good. Since I've been coming here, man, what a bunch of nice folks. And I think that you guys are so much nicer as far as it comes to just the rapport, letting people talk. But I'm not campaigning today. I'm really looking towards the future. And we need to do that. But we need to be more conservative with our money. And let's utilize the public where we can. Let's engage a different crowd of people that aren't members of the Greater Topeka Chamber of Commerce. There actually might be some new ideas that we could introduce to our community. I'm out of gas, so I appreciate your time, and I want to wish everybody good luck in the future. Thank you.
Any other public comment this morning? Our next item.
Item 6, Administrative Communications.
This is an opportunity for any department head or county employee to address the commission.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brian Cole, Shawnee County Department of Corrections. I just wanted to, earlier this year, I came up and talked about National Corrections Week and things like that. But also it came to my attention, and I apologize to staff, is that I was not aware that there was a pretrial probation and parole supervision week, and that is this week. And this week, Major Steve Willis and I joined out there to watch. We held basically a retreat for our supervisors to go out to have a great deal of fun, food, but also to do team building exercises on how to develop how we can change and do services better. But it was a very good time, so I just wanted to say thank you to Major Willis and just to join us and to celebrate over 100,000 community corrections professionals around the world in our country that do this work, because it is a very tough job. And I just wanted to, I would be remiss if I didn't come here and do this publicly to say thank you for your continued support, commissioners and the state, but also the good leadership and the staff that we have. And I'm very honored to be the director over community corrections, and we're doing a lot of good things. And so I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that. So thank you.
Thank you. So noted. Any other administrative communications this morning?
Commissioners, I do think that we should hold on loosely because we could be rocking into the night tonight with 38 Special at the Vale. It could be a night like no other.
Don't give up your day job just yet, Ms. Reichert.
Commissioner Cook, you know I'm caught up in you.
Commissioner Mays, can you lift us?
This is why we brought him back. Partially. No, I don't have anything else.
Commissioner Rippon?
No, I don't think I have anything.
Nor do I. It is going to be hot coming up, so make preparations this week. We know that next week is going to be an exceptionally warm week. Check on your neighbors. Make sure you have preparations, have water, have fans, But most importantly, make sure that if you have an elderly neighbor, that they're also being taken care of as it gets hot this next week. Our next item.
Executive sessions?
There is a need for an executive session on matters related to employee or employee negotiations, whether or not in consultation with a representative or representatives of the body or agency, specifically as to negotiations with the Fraternal Order of Police, let's say for a period not to exceed 15 minutes, starting at, let's say, 9:55. And so, is there a second?
Second.
And no action is anticipated after this executive session. Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. We're in executive session.
Oh, we still
Back from executive session, no action was taken. We are adjourned.